Hi everyone, if you didn't know, my name is Kimberly. This is kind of a follow-up to my previous videos. I've been searching all my life for the cause and cure of my mystery illness. In my previous videos, I did a symptoms video and also my story about how I've been searching and researching and finally found the cause for my mystery illness. I highly recommend you watch them because this is pretty much a follow-up. In this video, I am going to discuss how you can get diagnosed and treated. I want to start off by saying that I'm going to give you all the information that I have accumulated over this long period of time by being a part of Facebook groups and reading up and listening to all the doctors that I've seen's advice, and by also speaking to people who are ill in the same way or a similar way, whether I know them personally or I speak to them online. So I'm just going to give you as much information as I've accumulated. There's so much inaccurate information out there. This is like solid information, and then you do with it what you will. I strongly believe that the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to research as much as possible and then make the best educated decision for our own bodies. You know your body better than anyone. You know your body better than any doctor, and you know your body better than I do. So the best I can do is to just give you as much information as I can. And this information comes from a lot of reading up, a lot of research, and a lot of conversations. So I'm also going to link some useful information down below in the description, and you can have a look at that as well, and then make the best decision for yourself. I'm also going to give you a few methods to choose from according to your situation and according to what is best for your body, or whatever you feel is the best way to go forward for your body. So I'm going to start by discussing how you can get diagnosed. Now, if you've ever been diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, autoimmune disease, anything along those lines, as far as I'm concerned, those are not solid diagnoses. They're not telling you the actual cause of your disease, and you might have been asking yourself, why me? And that's a very valid question. You are infected by this illness because something has caused it. For me, it was a tick bite, but it could be from growing up on a farm. It could be from many other sources. I'm going to put some links below. I will label it that it is to do with where you could have caught it and more about these infections, and you can have a look at that. It explains it much better than I ever could. In case you didn't know, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, but I just wasn't happy with that diagnosis. I just think that it's not a solid diagnosis, and nobody could tell me the cause, and nobody could tell me the treatment plan or a solid treatment plan. They just gave me like vague sort of treatment plans. So I just kept looking and kept searching, and I came to the conclusion that I was actually infected from a tick bite, and these are the tests that you can do to see if you have been infected. Now, one thing that I want you to realize is that Lyme disease is really one of the only well-known tick-borne diseases, but really you could be infected by anything else. You could not have Lyme and have other infections. Toxoplasma, rickettsia, babesia, bilharzia. There are so many infections that you could have without the presence of Lyme. So it's really important that you get tested properly. But something that I really need to stress is that a regular general practitioner or your regular specialist even cannot diagnose these tests accurately. You need to go specifically to a specialist. This is because the tests are really inaccurate. There are different ways of testing, and you need to be in safe hands in knowing that they're giving you an accurate test. Even I went to one of the world's most well-known specialists, and I tested negative for Lyme, but recently I have gone to another doctor for a second opinion, and I do actually have Lyme. I thought that I only had rickettsia and mycoplasma and chlamydia, all from a tick bite, but I actually do also have Lyme, so that really surprised me, but my treatment covers that anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. But I was just really surprised that even with one of the world's best doctors, I still got a negative test for Lyme. So that's something that you really need to bear in mind, that false negatives are very common with these tests. and you really need to test for co-infections. They call them co-infections, or the other infections. You really need to test for those as well, because you could have those alone and not have Lyme. Okay, so hopefully you've taken a screenshot or something of the test that I put up. You're going to have to find an LLMD, is what they call them. It's basically a Lyme literate doctor. These doctors are your best bet for an accurate diagnosis, but unfortunately not all LLMDs know how to treat very well, and that is something that I'm going to discuss now. So that brings me to my first treatment method, the one that I personally started with, and that is antibiotic treatment, but a very specific form of antibiotic treatment. So if you get bitten by a tick and you go to the doctor, they will tell you, okay, we're going to put you on a course of antibiotic. Usually it's like, I think 24 days or something around there, or it could be a month. And they give you one antibiotic, and I think usually they give you doxycycline. I don't know how to pronounce medications, but usually they give you, I think, doxycycline. That's what they did for me when I had my tick bite, but it's not sufficient. That is not the way to treat these infections, and it's not going to get rid of your infections. The doctors will convince you that this is the way, but you need to really stand your ground. That is not the way that you get rid of these infections. It's going to come back to haunt you. Trust me, it happened to me. So the way to tell if your LLMD or Lyme literate doctor is treating you correctly is they will be putting you on a combination of antibiotics, one that opens your cell and one that actually kills the infection. This is because the infection can hide behind a cell wall. They have all sorts of adaptive methods. It's a very intelligent infection. All of these infections are extremely intelligent. They've been around for a long time, and they can adapt and survive under many circumstances. So they can adapt and survive when you give them antibiotic treatment. So you'll need a combination of antibiotics. You'll need one that kills the bacteria and one that opens the cell, and then you'll need to rotate these antibiotics. So basically you'll take a different combination of antibiotics every month for 1 week. So you'll be on the antibiotics for 1 week, both of them together in high doses, so that you hit the bacteria really, really hard. I'm just going to call it bacteria because I don't know what else to call it. And then for 3 weeks, you will be off the antibiotics. And then again, for 1 week on a different combination of high dose antibiotics. And then for 3 weeks, off again. This is the only way that you can treat with antibiotics, and the reason why is because the bacteria do go into hiding while you are on the antibiotics, and you need to give them a chance to come out. And when they feel that the terrain is safe, meaning when you are off the antibiotics, they start to come out of their hiding places, and that's when you hit them again, and you hit them with a surprise, one that they've never been able to adapt to, and they don't know how to adapt quickly enough, and they will die. Now, this treatment really is not easy. When the bacteria die, they release like a toxin or a chemical, and it makes you feel like extremely ill. It's called the Herxheimer reaction. So I will put a link below with some more information about the Herxheimer reaction if you want to know more about that. But basically, if you are not reacting to treatment, you are not killing the bacteria. So it's a good thing if you have a Herxheimer reaction. You just have to make sure that you detox. This is not only because of the toxins that the bacteria release, it's also because a lot of people with Lyme disease or these infections, they have a lot of things in their body that are adding to their body's load, such as heavy metal toxicity or previous chemical exposure. You basically just need to make sure that your body has the lightest load possible. So you got to detox and detox and detox. Basically, you have to drink a lot of water. I think the recommended amount is at least 3 liters or 3 liters, but I drink a lot more than that. My body just tells me to drink more than that. And the other thing that you need to do is to sweat it out in either a really hot bath or a sauna, but the best option is to get an infrared sauna. Apparently those are really great. I haven't even gotten myself one yet, but I've just heard from other people that they really help with your detoxing. But I am going to post a video with tips for during your antibiotic treatment to help get you through, because it really is very tough. So I'm going to discuss just how what I've been through on the antibiotic treatment and what you can do to get you through. While you are on the antibiotic treatment, you also have to focus on your diet. You have to cut out all refined sugar. I know that's a really tough one. That is something that I have always craved like crazy, but it's because the bacteria craves sugar and they multiply from sugar. So you need to cut out all sugar, and I will discuss also further on the diet when I discuss my more natural treatment plans. So the reason why I know that this antibiotherapy really works is because I know a lot of people who have recovered from it. My doctor has been treating since the 80s, and the proof is in the pudding, as she says, with her successes. There are so many people who have made a complete recovery. I discussed in one of my previous videos about a girl who referred me to her. She's like a friend of a family friend, and she's made a complete recovery. She's been well for 11 years now. So I know that this treatment plan really does work and it's really legit. I've also been on it for 11 months and I have improved so much I cannot explain. I used to not be able to stand up. I was completely bed bound, and now I can actually go out and do things. Like, it's absolutely amazing and I'm so grateful, but I'm not 100% there yet. But one thing that I feel is that my body just can't take the antibiotics anymore. I absolutely hate taking the antibiotics because of the Herxheimer reaction, but also just because I've never really liked medication, believe it or not, and I just hate putting that burden on my body, even though I know that it was completely necessary, and I'm so happy that I took that step. It really has helped, and I think it was the right way to go to start off my treatment. But I am going to a more natural treatment now, which is the second treatment that I am going to discuss with you. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned how I did a Facebook post like 5 months into my treatment, and I've been helping people ever since. Like, they inbox me saying, oh, I have those symptoms, like, can you help me? And I've helped them to get diagnosed. And one of the ladies who messaged me and said that she has the same symptoms and wants to get treated, she actually went this treatment route, and I checked in with her actually yesterday, and she said that she is feeling absolutely amazing. She actually has a child, she's a mother, and she said that she's feeling absolutely amazing and all of her symptoms are gone. And I was so happy, but also so surprised, because she recovered really quickly, actually much quicker than I have recovered. But I guess I also have been sick since I was a baby, so, and I was very, very, very bad, so I can't really compare myself. But I just think that this treatment that I'm about to discuss with you is a very good option. She's not the only person that I know personally from personal sources who have really improved with this treatment. So this is more of a homeopathic type of treatment. It uses vibrations to kill the bacteria, and this is with the use of a machine called a Rife machine. I don't know if you call it a RIFE machine or a Rife machine. I'm just going to say Rife machine. I will link some information below about this machine. I haven't tried it yet. I have an appointment in July with the same doctor that this girl goes to. He's in Cape Town. His name is Dr. Frans Kromhout, and he has a really good success rate. I've heard from a lot of personal sources that he is absolutely great and they have recovered, or what they say, they're in remission, they call it. So basically, just to explain his treatment a bit better, he uses this Rife machine that uses vibrations to kill the bacteria. He also uses homeopathic remedies and herbal remedies and supplements according to what your body needs. As I say, I haven't been to an appointment with him. I have an appointment in July. So I will make a video when I have done that appointment and update you all on everything. But I think that I'm going to be switching to this treatment now. I feel like it's time for my body to switch to something a little bit more natural now that I'm stable enough to go out and do things. Another very big thing with his treatment, and I think all treatments for this disease, is diet. And he says that you should be cutting out all carbs, so you don't have sugar and you don't have carbs. Sorry, I just switched off my aircon. I realized it was making such a noise, so now you can hear me a little bit clearer. So I was saying, with this treatment, you also have to focus on your diet, very much so. You'll have to cut out all carbs because carbs do turn into sugar in the body, and actually I should have always been cutting out all carbs, but I was just relying on the antibiotics because they're so strong. But from now on, I have cut out all carbs. I know it's such a difficult thing to do, but when you've hit rock bottom and you have seen what it's like there, you'll do anything to get your health back. It's so important. I really can't stress enough how important health is. If you're watching this and you just have sort of like a mild form of chronic fatigue syndrome or something, you need to really sort out your health, because when you get to the stage that I've gotten to, it's just not worth it. Sort it out while you still can, and it'll also take much quicker for you to recover. And that leads me to the third method of treatment. Now, this would be for somebody who maybe doesn't have the finances to see a professional, or to buy a Rife machine, or to buy medication every month. So basically this would be the completely natural treatment, which focuses on your immune system and really letting your immune system take care of the problem. For me, I did try this method for about 3 or 4 months and it didn't work for me. I think that I was too far gone. I did actually start having a bit of a Herx reaction when I started this, so I think bacteria was dying, but it just didn't really do as much for me as the antibiotherapy did for me. But this method would be the completely natural method. Something that is very important to mention is that you can never kill every single little bacteria in your body that is infecting you. It's almost like completely impossible. So the ultimate goal anyway is to keep the population at a very manageable level so that you don't feel symptoms. That is everyone's ultimate goal. So with the antibiotics, you're basically just getting the populations completely under control so that your body can take over and can recover and can keep them under control. So this method would basically be jumping the gun. It would be a little bit harder to get your body on top of things, and I think that the populations will probably be a bit larger within your body, and relapse is more likely if you take this method, but you can use it as a starting point. I would suggest use it as a starting point. There are people who have recovered this way. So there's a channel called Health Recovery that when I started this method, I followed this channel. It's by a guy called James, and he was sick, I think, for 8 years, and he kind of used like trial and error to see what methods worked best for him in terms of natural treatment. And he didn't really know what his infections were or anything. He still doesn't know, but he has reached a good state of health by just doing these things. So I'm going to link his channel below, but basically the most important things with this are also diet and sleep and detoxing. So I would say that these are the most important. Each aspect you can go into great detail about, so have a look at his videos. I'm also going to post more videos in the future focusing on just sleep or just diet or just detox, because you can really go into great detail about that. But for now, if you're starting out, basically you should just cut out all sugar. If you can, cut out all carbs. And you should focus on detoxing and sweating. You should focus on getting your lymphatic system moving, because that is your body's detox system. So you can use dry brushing as a method. The Health Recovery channel does explain these things. If you can afford to buy an infrared sauna, I would highly recommend that. I'll put a link below for one of those too, just in case you're interested in checking it out. But the best solution would be to combine one of the two first treatments that I mentioned along with this, because anyway you should be doing all of these things along with your treatment. And the reason why I really like James's channel is because my doctor has echoed a lot of the advice that he's given, like it's on her list of recommendation of things to do. I will actually put that list up on the screen now so that you can see what exactly she puts on her list for recommendations of things to do. It's like a very interesting list. You can have a look through, maybe take a screenshot. I really hope that I've mentioned enough here, and I hope that this video was informative for you. But based on my conversations that I've had with a lot of you, I know that a lot of questions are to follow, and I can't possibly mention like all the information at once. So please, if you have questions, put it in the comment section below. A lot of people message me directly on like my social media platforms, but it's better if you put it in the comments below, because then everyone can see your questions and everyone can benefit from my answers to your questions. And then then also I don't have to answer them a few times over. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for your interesting conversations and your comments and your words of encouragement. It means so much, and it means a lot to know that I am on the right path with sharing my journey and getting the message out there about this disease. So thank you so much for that. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so that I know that I'm sharing information that is helpful and I can carry on making videos that are similar. Subscribe if you want to see future videos, and then also press the little bell button if you want to get a notification when I post my upcoming videos. That way you won't miss out on anything. Let me know if there's anything you would like me to discuss in future videos as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!